In a sterile control room in Brussels, Michael Harper's eyes didn't waver as 4 words flashed across his screen. Dad, it happened again. His fingers, steady despite the storm brewing inside, lingered above the biometric pad that governed the Global Aviation Standards Authority. A half-second pause, then a single tap. Within 10 minutes, 38 airports would cut ties with Horizon Air. At Gate 14 in Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, a flight attendant, still smiling as she scanned boarding passes, had no idea she'd just shattered more than a boy's travel planche cracked the fragile trust holding her industry together. 10 minutes earlier, on a chilly November morning in 2026, the air at Gate 14 buzzed with the usual pre-flight chaos. Then came a sound that sliced through the noise, not a shout, not a crash, but the deliberate rip of a boarding pass torn in half. It stopped conversations cold. Heads turned, then quickly looked away, as if witnessing something too raw to acknowledge. In the center stood a 14-year-old boy, Ethan Harper, pale and silent, his hands trembling in a navy hoodie. Across from him, Laura Mitchell, a veteran flight attendant with 20 years of crisp professionalism, held the torn ticket like it was evidence of a crime. Her voice cut through the gate, sharp and public. First class is for ticketed passengers, not unaccompanied kids with fake IDs. Gasps rippled. A nearby mother pulled her child closer. Ethan, wearing a small pin that read Youth Tech Advocate, froze. He'd shown his ID and ticket moments earlier, his hearing aids visible, his communication tablet ready. Laura barely glanced at them. Flying alone? She asked, her tone implying doubt. Ethan nodded. Nonverbal? She pressed, as if it were a flaw. He tapped his tablet, headed to Tokyo for Tech Inclusion Summit. Ticket valid. Laura's eyes narrowed. Who booked this? Ethan typed, my father. Without a word, without checking, she tore the ticket and snapped, step aside. Ethan didn't move. His eyes locked on the shredded paper, proof he didn't belong again. He tapped 4 words and hit send. Dad, it happened again. 4 time zones away, Michael Harper sat in a Brussels high-security hub, reviewing airline compliance data. His phone buzzed. He didn't flinch, knew that message. It wasn't the first time, but it would be the last. He stood, nodded to his aide, and entered a secure chamber. No press, no drama, just systems quiet, precise, unstoppable. The biometric scanner glowed, recognizing him as a Level 9 ethics overseer. With surgical precision, he flagged Horizon Air, pulled the incident from Chicago's Gate 14 Code 4.2, passenger equity violation, and revoked their global ethics clearance. A soft chime confirmed it. Somewhere, a cascade began. Back at Gate 14, Laura brushed imaginary lint from her uniform, oblivious. Ethan sat by a window, clutching the torn ticket like broken glass. Above, in the control tower, a tech analyst blinked at a red alert. Horizon Air ethics license revoked. 38 airports locked out. Is this international? He muttered. Monitors flashed. London, Tokyo, Sydney, Miami access denied. A $2.1 billion contract froze. No one dared name the man behind it. Ethan, now in a Stark Airport conference room, sat under flickering lights, his tablet dim. He didn't cry, he'd trained himself not to. His mother, battling illness, once called his restraint silent armor. Since her diagnosis, it was just him and his dad, whose silence meant action. Ethan thought of Laura, her certainty as she tore his ticket, as if his silence marked him as less. It wasn't new. Last year, a Dallas TSA agent held him for 30 minutes, questioning his condition. Ethan had texted his dad, "They made me prove I belong." Days later, TSA updated its protocols. But this felt worse, public, deliberate, a declaration he didn't belong. A nervous gate agent, barely 22, cracked the door. "Your dad's coming," he said, offering juice Ethan didn't want. Ethan nodded, saying nothing. Outside, O'Hare hummed, unaware that Gate 14 had triggered a global crisis. Horizon's booking systems glitched, Tokyo routes failed, loyalty portals crashed. In Brussels, Michael's override rippled. 3 airlines under review, 7 airports suspending Horizon's code shares. He didn't yell or threaten, he calculated. Laura, sipping coffee in the crew lounge, dismissed the chaos as a tech glitch. She'd justified herself to a junior agent, Ryan. Kids like that don't fly first class alone. Protocol lets me challenge suspicious documents. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. You tore it in front of everyone. Laura smirked. Exceptions breed chaos. But upstairs, chaos was real. Horizon COO, David Klein, stared at an alert. Level 9 override from Brussels. Who's the kid? He demanded. No one knew, but the scrubbed name in the report screamed power. Ethan, still in the room, typed on his tablet. Why must I prove I belong in a seat I paid for? Why is silent suspicion? His hand steadied. Ideas flowed. What if seats had screens for silent requests? What if distress didn't need a voice? He sketched a system silent flight icons for help, food, privacy. A crew screen would ping quietly. No shame, no spotlight. He saved it, for anyone erased. Michael arrived, calm in a dark coat, radiating quiet authority. I saw your message, he said. Ethan typed. She didn't ask my name. Just tore it. Michael's jaw tightened. That's enough. He didn't comfort with words. He sat, present. Above, systems groaned FAA holds, ethics audits, Horizon's licenses in limbo. No headlines yet, but the industry felt the quake. Laura, oblivious, worked her next flight, snapping at a passenger's low-sensory request. This isn't a spa, she muttered. But her supervisor watched, clipboard in hand. Whispers spread fewer smiles, more glances. A newspaper headline circled in the lounge read, FAA probes nonverbal passenger protocols. Laura scoffed, but no one laughed. In Brussels, Michael forwarded an FAA email to Ethan. Silent flight framework requested for reform. Want to build it? Ethan replied, yes, but from silence first. Weeks later, in Seattle, Ethan sketched in his garage, his room a map of questions. What if a device dies mid-flight? What if panic looks like defiance? His team Silent Justice Collective built a visual seat interface. Gesture-based, no sound, just light. Maya, in a wheelchair, typed, this is a language. Lucas, with a stutter, added, the cabin speaks us back. At a virtual FAA panel, Ethan presented silent flight. His final slide, silence isn't absent sight's presence. The room stilled. The FAA director said, this changes the crew-passenger dynamic. Michael nodded. That's the point. Hours later, a Chicago test flight ran silent flight. A nonverbal girl signaled distress. A crew member responded in seconds, silently. Ethan, observing, smiled. Laura's last shift ended abruptly. As her plane landed, an FAA liaison waited. You violated passenger equity standards. Laura's face fell. I have 22 years. The liaison was unmoved. So was tearing a boy's ticket. In a back room, Laura read her suspension notice, signed M. Harper. She froze. Silent flight rolled out. Gate 14's plaque read, here, the world learned to listen. In Braille, thank you, Ethan. Horizon's logo vanished from Seattle's dignity banners. CNN aired, Boy's silence shakes aviation. Ethan, soldering in his garage, didn't watch. He was building a bracelet for sensory alerts. Michael watched him proud. You changed more than flights, he said. Ethan typed, it's not about me. What do you think should silence be a protected language in public spaces? Have you ever been dismissed for being too quiet? Should airlines face harsher penalties for erasing passengers? Share your story below. Your voice matters, loud or not. Like, comment, and subscribe to keep this conversation alive. Where are you watching from? And who are you standing for?